Hello and welcome to Diecast Restos. My name is Jason and this is the Lesney Matchbox No. 34B Volkswagen Caravette. It was in the range from 1962 until 1967, replacing the 34A Volkswagen van and succeeded by the 34C silver VW camper. All examples of the 34B came in a pale green with a darker green base, had green tinted windows, and had silver trim applied to the headlights and VW emblem. This example is missing the hinged doors to the side, exposing the riveted in table and chairs. On later versions, the rivets were removed and the furniture was cast in. Here is an example of a near mint 34B. And here is a real-life Volkswagen Type 2 T1 from 1962. I shan't be drilling out the rivets for the table and chairs on this model, as there will be enough space to sufficiently clean up and paint the interior. When it's exposed like this, it does look really unusual, like a picnic bench on wheels. This casting came fitted with the knobbly grey plastic wheels, though they could be found in silver or black as well, in both fine and knobbly form in grey or black. These are my reproduction side doors that will replace the missing ones, which include storage boxes on the inside. When it's all reattached, these lugs will prevent the doors opening inwards. Now I use my modified drill bit to remove that dirty and scratched window unit. The first Type 2 Volkswagen rolled off the assembly line on the 12th of November 1949. There were two options, the Kombi with removable middle and rear seats, and the commercial. The Microbus was added in May 1950. Although it was not known by the designation at the time, the T1 Type 2 was in production from 1950 until 1967, though production continued in Brazil until 1975. An easy way to distinguish the T1 and the later T2 is that the T1 has a split screen, which is also a common nickname for the T1. The first T1s used Volkswagen's 1100 air-cooled engine. Now though, it's time to strip what's left of the paint. Volkswagen's rear-mounted 1100 air-cooled flat-4 boxer engine was uprated to 1200cc in 1953 in the Type 2. A 1500 engine was finally added in 1962. There were numerous body styles of T1 available. There was the 4 or 5 door panel van, panel truck or minibus, and a 2-door pickup or a 3-door crew cab pickup. Of all the different versions of the T1, the most luxurious was the Samba. These were painted 2 colours as standard and had either 21 or 23 windows, including 8 rooftop panoramic windows. There was also a fabric sunroof, while the Samba used pivot doors similar to the model instead of sliding doors. Samba rooftops were also extended slightly to act as a visor for the driver. The Samba was discontinued with the launch of the 1967 T2. Production of VW's T2 spanned 12 years in the US and Europe, from 1967 to 1979. Again, Brazil was an outlier, producing the T2 until 2013. The T2A ran until a 1972 facelift, and were known as the early bay models. These are distinguished from the post-1972 late bay vans by higher mounted turn signals, a squared off bumper, and a smaller VW emblem. The facelift also included an increase to the size of the engine bay, which would allow larger 1.7 to 2 litre units from the Volkswagen Type 4 to be fitted. These air-cooled engines continued to be used in the 1979 Type 2 T3, but by 1983 they were replaced by water-cooled engines. The T3 remained in production in Germany until 1991, but production in South Africa lasted until 2002, where it was known as the Microbus. The T3 is more commonly known as the Vanagon in North and South America, but also as the Transporter and Caravelle in Europe. It was much larger, heavier, and had more squared, angular styling than the T2. In 1990, the Volkswagen Transporter, designated the T4, became the first VW van to have a conventional front-mounted water-cooled engine. Since then, little has changed in the styling department in 30 years. Anyway, now back to my casting that has just received its paint, meaning we are fast approaching reassembly. On go the wheels and axles. Those rounded axle ends are coated in a layer of chrome. Next, I insert the refreshed window piece that, when pushed down, clips onto the existing stubby rivet posts. The next bit is a bit awkward, having to slot the tail end in through the slot first. Before the front is clipped in, each door is inserted, which is a bit frustrating, but eventually they get secured with a click. Finally, I apply chrome trim the same as it would have received in the Lesney factory, which includes going over the cast-in VW emblem with my chrome pen. So now let's remind ourselves how the 34B Volkswagen Caravette looked to start off with. It was missing its left and right pivoting doors, most of its paint, including all of the silver trim, and had a very cloudy and scratched window unit. The axles were a bit rusty, and there aren't many models crying out for some TLC more than this classic Type 2. This Microbus was in major need of an overhaul, so let's take a look at how it presents now. The first thing you might notice is that it has doors again. Immediately, this gives a more complete look. The Tamiya Pearl Green is as close as I could get, but it really works on this Caravette. That window piece is a million times better than it was. Not perfect, but certainly less cloudy than before. The axles have been de-rusted, the wheels washed, and the hubs chromed, which makes it look just like the hubcaps from the real thing. Speaking of chrome, the headlights and VW emblem have also been treated to some Molotow. I'm particularly proud of the logo front and centre. So if you have enjoyed this restoration, please leave a like and leave a comment. Click that subscribe button to see all my latest works, and check out my Instagram and Patreon for sneak previews of my projects. Links are in the description below. So all that leaves me to say is thank you for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.